It's time for the College of Ice with Brian Brosdahl and Steve Panaz.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 16 of College of Ice. This is our last night of the season. I got to tell you, it's been a fun run. And by the way, if it looks like I'm in a hotel room, it's because I'm in a hotel room. I'm on my way back from about 2 weeks of travel, and we're stuck somewhere north of Atlanta and somewhere south of Chattanooga. So having fun. Hey, because this is the last night, I don't want to hesitate. I'm going to bring Bro in right away. Bro, how you doing, man?
Hey, good. Today, it started out, it was 20 below, and at about 7, it went to 25 below. So it got colder as I was getting ready, and then it warmed up.
Well, when I left this morning, I think it was like 70, and every mile I go north, I see the temperature dropping more and more. And good thing I had to stop because big snowstorms just north of us and that sort of thing. Hey, we've got a great show tonight. I'm really looking forward to the night. We've got some great guests. We got Brad Dourek coming in. We got the Summerhauser brothers coming in, and we've got Joe Reimer coming in, and Kevin Van Dam's coming back, and he's got some pretty exciting news to share. So toward the end of the show, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, bro, we had a chance to fish together in open water last year for Lake Commandos, and I just wanted to mention that the newest season's on right now. We're airing on Outdoor Channel Sunday mornings, 10:30 Central Time. And we've got an upcoming episode between Steve and Bro going head-to-head on some giant smallmouth. So it's going to be a fun show.
That was fun. You know what it is just going out there and trying to figure out a lake and then turn it into a tournament at the same time, you know, and it's a lot of fun. And, you know, I got the first one and you got that one. So everybody, it's fun to watch how we figure it out. And it's really neat because we're showing you exactly what you do if you approach a lake for the first time. So definitely check it out. And where can they see it?
It's on Outdoor Channel, airs 4 times a week, so you can check it out. And speaking of Outdoor Channel, I'd like to thank everybody joining us through the Outdoor Channel Facebook page tonight, and Mossy Oak and Frayville and just all of the sites tonight. It's just so much fun having everybody here. Hey, we need to congratulate James Pratt of American Fork, Utah, for winning the Frayville prize pack last week. And bro, there's going to be another winner tonight.
Congratulations on that. And definitely looking forward to giving away.
So how can they win this $165 Frayville prize pack?
All you got to do is like and share the show, tune in, drop us your questions, and also let us know how the ice is or what's going on in your area, and you're in to win.
Super right there. Cool. Break it up just a tad. Hey, I didn't know if you know this, bro, but there was something special happened at the Frayville, what do you call it, the warehouse today. They were looking around in the back corner and they found this little brown box, and inside the box they found 2 more College of Ice mugs. And you know what we're going to do tonight? We're going to give both of those away. So anybody that would like to be in the drawing tonight for the College of Ice mug, in your comments, just write the word mug after whatever else you got to say. And we're going to pick 2 winners tonight. One pretty close, pretty right away, and then one about 3/4 of the way through the show. So that should be a lot of fun. Hey, bro, before we bring our first guest in tonight, I want to talk about 2 topics. One, how does snow depth affect fish behavior? And I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that, because we're getting more and more snow on the ice, and I just wanted to know what you've experienced in terms of snow depth and fish behavior.
Well, yeah, definitely a lot more snow on the ice right now. 4-wheel travel with wheels is kind of tough, even with chains. So it's track travel, but that extra snow, that little bit of slush is starting to bring the fish up a little bit. I was catching perch without all the snow, and they're staying close to the bottom. Now the perch are rising up. Some of them are coming 8 feet off the bottom to come up and look at a lure. And when they do that, they bring all the other ones up. So I think that the zooplankton, the bait fish, everything's coming up. But that being said, make sure you watch the light coming out of your holes. I've been using AquaView. I always have the Micro 5 Revolution Pro in my house, and I could see the other holes around me, and they look like spotlights. The fish aren't swimming under them like they normally would because it's dark everywhere. So kick some slush in your holes or fish in a Frabill house.
One of the things I noticed, and I think we've talked about this in past shows, but that light piping coming through the hole, I mean, I've seen it on camera, but I've also seen it affect fish. And one of the things I liked about the thermo tip up, the round thermo, is it covers the hole and blocks that light coming through. And there was a noticeable difference, especially late season when those fish are riding high up there. They wouldn't touch those baits that were real tight. Hey, I love seeing all the mug mentions, guys. That's awesome. We can't wait to give one of those away. So it's getting later in the season as well, and I want to talk a little bit on ice transportation. I know you've run a snowmobile. I know you've run an ATV in the past, and you've also got a track vehicle. And I want to show everybody this photo of your awesome track vehicle. It's a Toyota. What is that? 4Runner.
Yeah. I started out. I have a good relationship with a Toyota dealership in Bemidji, and I had a FJ Cruiser on tracks. It was way too nice because of the abuse I was giving it. So I just scaled it back, and I picked up a used 4Runner that was really clean, and I threw it on the tracks. And the nice thing about this, for all of those that know about tracks kick up a lot of snow and slush. Well, I'm inside, but I don't have a new picture where I have flares that come way out and they kick the snow to the side, especially in front. And it's a way to go because cars ride nice. And if you're going to imitate a car with a four-wheeler, why not just use a car?
So, bro, what do you have invested in that? I know your vehicle. There's it. Look at
there it is
out there. Yeah.
It goes when you put it down, it goes. But you got to look for a vehicle that you can lock all four. If you need to. And this one you can lock all four. You can get a Jeep. You can get definitely look for the serious hardcore 4x4 stuff, but stuff you can get cheap. I got the truck for $3,000. Those tracks are going to be about 20. So you look at a snowmobile that's tricked out, a real tricked out sled's going to be about 20. And if you put a winch and everything on it, so this is about just like having a sled with all the accoutrements on it. So it's not a bad price, but you can pay as high as $50,000 for other tracks. But this is American Track Truck, and they're inexpensive. I think you can get them. You don't need the big tracks like I got in the back with the studs. You could order just all tracks probably for about $15,000.
So what are some of the positives? What have you run into? And if you had any issues with freeze up or anything like that?
No, never any problems getting stuck or anything like that. I was in plate ice, which was because of crust, 6 inches of ice that piled up, but I didn't get stuck. I ripped all the ice out and then moved so I wouldn't cut any brake lines. But it's 30 below zero last year and 2 feet of water running around. If you're out fishing, you got to clean out the track while you're fishing, not before, not after, during. So there's a little bit of maintenance, but you're on the way. You could drink a coffee. I mean, it's really nice and it's practical, and you could really pull just about anything. And one day we pulled 17 trucks out of snow that were stuck. So it's got a lot of torque, unbelievable amount of torque.
And if you had any issues with it, breakdown or anything like that, I know some people have had track issues. None. That's awesome.
No. Here's the thing: you got to keep changing your transmission fluid if it overheats because it's not good for it, and then it's got a tranny cooler on it. So just one thing to remember: tranny cooler, because it's working a little harder. Now if you're freezing up, yeah, I've taken it down the road. It's not good for the tracks to go too far, but sometimes if the lake's nearby, but I put it up on a car hauler with big slabs, pull it up on top, and then I park the 285 side step underneath it, and it works perfect, and it kind of protects the side step. But this year, I haven't really had a reason to use it. I mean, I'm still on a snowmobile and running around and pulling people, but I'm telling people if they're coming up, bring tracks or a sled on your four-wheeler, because chains, you're going to be plowing right now. A lot of side-by-sides are really low. They're really low, and you got to get up up higher, and that 4Runner has a 4-inch lift kit. You have to climb up in there. It's definitely like.
I was going to say, do you need a ladder to get in there?
I reach up for the oh my handle and I pull myself in.
You know, I'm a huge fan of the side by sides, and a lot of the lakes that I'm fishing, we can use those years, throughout the entire year. Late in the season can get a little bit dicey at times. We're not running into some of the big water that you are in some of the far north where you got much more snow. But this year I went with the Yamaha, the new Transporter Light sled, and it's actually not a very expensive sled. It runs around $7-8 grand, but it's built specifically for getting gear out there. So I'll throw my live scope unit on the back, and I can strap it down, anything I need to protect my tackle, my rods and things, and then I'll tow my Frabill fish house behind it. But it's peppy, it's fun, and I love the fact that I don't get stuck, so I can cover a lot of water with it.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been using a long track, basically for many years, and I got a new one too. I got one here where Heather's sitting on it. You can see this is what I've been pulling people out if they don't have machinery right here.
I know. I think he's helping us pick some winners right now, so we'll stop back on that
later. But yeah, definitely, it's nice for getting out there. And if I'm pulling a 285 sidestep, there it is, right there.
There it is.
I could hook my my snowmobile trailer, a single place trailer up. People could sit on it, but there's a little bit of snow dirt on it, so I like to just pull them in a house. And you'd be surprised. You can, if you hook the houses together with a loop or an eye bolt. I mean, you could actually put people in each house and pull them slow because you're not going fast.
That's awesome. Hey, just before we Brad in in a minute or two, I want to announce that we have a winner for the first College of Ice mug tonight.
All right.
You want to announce it?
Woody Smith, you are the winner. Oh, whoops.
We're gonna give Woody Smith the first College of Ice mug tonight. There we go. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got one more we're going to be giving away a little bit later.
Yeah, we don't want anybody to know who that is
in the show. And hey, anybody else that has any comments on the on ice transportation, what you guys are using successfully, please throw them up in the comments line. I'd love to see what you've got there. Hey, bro, I want to bring our first guest in just a little bit early tonight. It's Brad Durick. He's been a full-time catfish guide on the Red River up in northern Minnesota, the border between North Dakota and Minnesota. But he's also
really cool.
an ice guide who specialized targeting big pike with tip-ups and that sort of thing. And Brad, he's also a member of the Frabill Pro staff and has been for a number of years. Brad, welcome to College of Ice. How you doing tonight?
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to be here.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Long time. Can you hear me?
Your place.
Yeah.
So you're
coming through great.
Oh, yeah.
How's everything going there? You got lots of ice forming?
Well, it's not like it normally is, but we have ice.
That's good.
Last time I was in Devil's Lake, I was maybe 13 inches.
Oh, okay.
What was that? That's not much.
Well, no, we should be up in that 2-foot range by now.
Yeah.
But, I was, you won't be seeing me with my truck out there anytime soon.
No.
Now, granted, that was before this last week of cold too, so maybe we're putting it on again.
So, hey, Brad, so when do you shut down on your catfish season, typically?
It's usually right around October 1st we're shutting down for the year. It's basically my season is 50 degrees on the way up and 50 degrees on the way down for water temperatures.
Is there anybody targeting winter cats through the ice on the Red?
No, not really. A few people catch them by accident, but like right now, I wouldn't go out there. I mean, it's really sketchy. I mean, I see a few snowmobile tracks, but if those folks knew how current ran through some of those areas I've seen them, they wouldn't be riding.
Yeah, you got some pretty good speeds there. What are they? 3-4 mile an hour?
I don't think it's quite that much, but there's sections where it's channelized, and then there's a couple of low heads, and then the wastewater outfalls, when they're done with it, they put it back in the river all winter long. So it creates some hazardous spots you got to cross. And then, of course, just river ice is unpredictable. And with as warm as it's been, I'm playing it safe and staying off of it this year.
Sure.
So how's the catfish fishery been holding up? Is it? I know it gets a fair amount of pressure, but it's also got produces a lot of fish.
Oh, it's holding up really well. I'm one of the few folks that'll tell you that flooding makes fishing better in the long run. Last year we had an outstanding season, very consistent. The fish weren't running quite as big as they have in the past, but you should be able to get a 15 plus pounder every day you're out here.
Oh,
It's
nice.
still holding on pretty good.
That's amazing. Hey,
Big fish.
I know you were running an ice fishing guide service for Pike, specializing with tip ups, and I want to talk to you a little bit about your system, and also, are you a rail style guy, a thermal guy? Take us kind of through what you like to run with.
Well, I use both. Primarily, I use the old rail style, the Arctic Fires. I brought one down tonight. They're fairly inexpensive, and you can pack a lot of them in a tub and move them pretty easy. They're quick and easy to set up. I also like the Pro Thermals when it's colder out. I think you spend less time busting ice out of the hole. And then if it's real nice, I like to actually break out the old stick style with the cross, and the flag on the big spring. It just seems to be so attention getting because it's just not normal anymore to see that.
No, you don't see it very often. Yeah.
They're nice in deep snow though, because they get a higher profile with their flag, with that stick coming up like it is. So if you get a foot, 2 feet, like right around here now, we got a lot of snow, or getting more snow. That might not be a bad bet.
Yeah, they're fantastic in snow. They're not very good in super duper cold though, because they do freeze in and they're a lot harder to bust out than a metal shaft and a plastic tip is. But still pretty entertaining to use.
I don't know if I read this or we were talking about it, but I know you like to carry your tip ups in one of the padded boxes from Frabill.
Yeah, when the padded trunks came out from Plano, the medium-sized one, I was looking for some way to move a lot of tip-ups easy. So I went that road because I can get about 15, 16 rail styles in one, plus a little tackle box, plus a bag of bait or whatever I have. But then I took it a step further and I bought some rope, took a couple of washers, and just drilled 2 holes in and basically made a sled out of it. So early ice, there it is right there.
Right there,
I just have auger in one hand and that in the other, and I just tow it right out. If we're driving or using our sleds and shacks, I'll throw them in with that, and then when I'm going hole to hole to set the tip ups up, I just pull them out. Everything's in one spot. When we're packing them up to go home, I just throw them in as I'm walking along. It's real quick and easy to keep them all in one place.
Very handy.
So, Brad, what are you running for line? And how do you set up your hooks and things? Just take us through your whole rig, including bait.
I use just a regular 30-pound Dacron tip-up line. Of course, I pulled the line out here and got my rig all tangled up. So
that never happens, does it?
No, never. I like it because I think it's easier on the hands, and it's relatively inexpensive. You can cut it off, you can move it, you can tie it, do whatever you need to do. But I use a pretty standard, I got it right there, just a regular cable quick strike rig with a leader. And I generally put my weights a touch lower so I can control it better. Mm-hmm. This one is a manufactured one. I like to actually make them myself.
Yep.
And now this week I'm going to try an experiment. You had a guest on not too long ago tying with fluorocarbon. So I built a few and you actually use clasps to assemble it rather than knots. So I'm going to experiment with that a little bit. But North Dakota, where I primarily fish, we have to use dead bait for the most part. So because dead bait, frozen bait tends to float, I always put the head on the top and the tail on the bottom, and then I hook it on the belly side because it has a tendency to float up. So it stands with the head up and looks like a normal fish instead of laying there upside down.
Okay.
Which I think gets a little more fish attention than just kind of sitting on its back. Now, if I'm using lively live bait, like over in Minnesota, I'll hook it opposite so the fish can dart away from the actual bait. But since I brought this, I thought I'd share this. Well, there it is. One little hack I figured out for setting your depth and holding it quickly is put a simple shirt button into your line. when you're adjusting, it
Yeah.
slides easy, but when you got a fish on, it stays tight and doesn't move. When you reel it
Great
back
idea.
up, you reel it right back to your button. And
Right.
everybody's got an old dress shirt laying around you can steal buttons from.
That's a great one. So in terms of dead bait, what do you typically, what type of dead bait are you running?
Well, I use a lot of smelt, which of course you can't use in Minnesota anymore. We can use frozen suckers over here. And I like a bigger herring also. Sometimes we can't find it, sometimes we can, but I like to really, if I can find some good herring and know I'm on some deeper structure fish, I'll stretch these things out, I'll get a good size herring or even a big smelt if that's what I can find, and go a little bit suspended off like a saddle with a much bigger bait so they can find it. And I think that seems to, maybe not as many fish, but bigger fish.
So one question, was there a law change on suckers in North Dakota recently?
Yes. We never could use live suckers in places like Devil's Lake and North Dakota, but it was never specified. It just said illegal. Now, 2 years ago, it was changed that you cannot even possess a live sucker west of a Red River county. So, for example, Grand Forks County, which borders the Red River, Cass County, which is Fargo, borders, and so on up and down the state. But we can use them if they're frozen.
Okay.
Interesting.
And is it hard to find? Is it hard to find bait? I mean, most bait shops have what you're looking for in terms of dead bait?
Well, usually the smelt we use comes from the grocery store. The bait shops in Devil's Lake have it usually. Early in the season, usually I'll go when the fresh smelt are coming into the grocery store so I can get the nice bags of big ones. And then I repackage them into smaller, more manageable sizes, and then I use it that way.
Okay. Bro, what are you finding?
Minnesota, everybody has sucker minnows, so it's not a problem.
Yeah. Bro, are you finding that a lot of the bait shops around home are offering any type of, I mean, what can they even sell nowadays if smelt aren't an option?
Well, you can't use smelt. I mean, they their eggs are still viable when they're frozen, but all the bait shops here have sucker minnows, so you can use live suckers. And I'll just take a little scissors or my teeth, like I did on your show that one time, and bite their tails off. So they wiggle like, oh my goodness, here comes a big pike. But they can't do anything. They just sit there and wiggle, and then the pike eats them. But we can get big shiners in some places. It's all whatever the trappers can get. We have less ice this year. They're having an easier time trapping. Some bait shops have like a big menu. You walk in, it's like, oh, they got that minnow. They got that minnow. There's some bait shops in the area in Bemidji and right here where I live in Max, Minnesota. But we got great suppliers, and they can get the bait. But we do have big minnows, and you can get some frozen stuff here and there, but it has to be certified by the DNR. So if you don't have that little sticker on there, don't bring it. But anyway, so definitely live bait is hot. Dead bait works really well. And you get lakes like Lake of the Woods, they could eat a big sucker minnow, but they have them up there usually. So it doesn't hurt to have some, but get the big ones if you can. And some of those big spearing decoy suckers in up at Lake of the Woods would probably work really good on one tip up for the big kahuna.
Yeah, that's fun. Hey, Brad, when you're fishing Devil's Lake, I mean, that's a tremendous pike fishery. I've had a chance to fish it open water. Last time I was up there for ice was a long time ago, but I want to change that this year. But what's the average size pike running the last few years through the ice?
I think they're starting to get a little smaller over the past years. Actually, back over the years, going back 20 years or so, 5 to 6 pound pike on a regular basis was very easy to come by, and very big numbers of them. And admittedly, I've been taking my kid and a lot of friends with kids out, so we've been going shallower on weed lines, which is automatically giving up size. But catching 5 to 7 pound pike was pretty simple, and now it seems like they're getting a little more few and far between, and they're generally running smaller, more in that 3 pound range, the ones I'm finding for numbers. And I think spearing's starting to take a little bit of a toll on it, but there's still some good ones out there. My kid just stuck a 42-incher early ice that was, I mean, I'm a little jealous.
Wow, that's a nice fish.
But yeah, we're good for high 30s, 40 every year, but that was an exceptional one. And like I said, the ones where we get our numbers, I think they're starting to lack a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I saw a couple of questions. Do you do anything to treat the bait, like salt them or anything?
Now, I'm pretty much a traditionalist. I think that comes from my catfishing. You don't want to mess with your bait for scents too much. So I don't get too involved in things like that. I mean, I'm the guy who still, even in the winter, won't touch anything but bait with my left hand because you might get something on it that a fish doesn't like. So. Never ever put your sunscreen on with your left hand in my world.
Hey, bro, we've had 45 guests. It's the first time. Yeah.
So Neil Rippey, I want to tell you that I like to take the bottom corner of the tail off, and I have this little superstitious. Sometimes I'll snip it off, but sometimes I just like to bite them. Bite the bait, scare it a little bit before you put it down.
You just don't want to take the time to eat. So I mean, let's just be honest about it.
Potato chip.
I'll bring that up to my kid, bro. He likes a freshwater shrimp swallow now and again. Maybe he'll bite the tail off it.
It's like a potato chip that hasn't been cooked.
Oh,
yeah, I'll get right on that.
Yeah. Hey, Brad, we gotta let you go, but thank you so much for joining us in College of Ice. Thank you for sharing it. We'll see you on the ice. Thanks, man. Hey, bro, we're gonna move right into our next guest. Grant and Hunter Summerhausers have been really involved in the fishing business for a long time. These guys started a tackle business when they were wee tykes and have really been active members of the Frabill Pro staff for a number of years. They're the guys that were chasing down the tip up in the open of College of Ice. So it's cool to have these guys on again. Grant, Hunter, welcome. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good to see you guys.
What's up,
Thanks for
boy?
having us.
How's it going?
Hey, bro. Haven't seen you in a while.
I've been on the ice. That's why.
Well, Steve's there too.
Oh, hey, Steve.
Oh yeah, I'm here, dude. Hey, hey, we had a good response last time on the sturgeon piece we did with you. I don't know, it was episode 4 or 5 or something. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, give us an update of what's happening on the sturgeon fisher. Have you guys been out the last week or two, and what are you hearing from what guys are doing out there?
Well, it was how sturgeon fishing's actually been since we started doing it when it became a big thing over the past 4 or 5 years. If you're able to safely get out there and walk out when it's early ice, it's just phenomenal. There was a time we went out there where there was just enough to walk. There wasn't even enough to even drive any ATVs, and we caught 58 in 2 days. That was the first year we ever sturgeon fished.
Wow.
But as the pressure gets, I mean, it's pretty much comparative to the lake systems. The more pressure they get, the tougher it is. So you have to kind of find areas where you're away from the crowd.
How many people are out typically fishing in some of the hotter spots now?
I drove down there about 2 weeks ago and not expecting a ton of people, but there had to be at least 200 people out. Not only sturgeon fishing, just walleye, whatever. There's a lot of fishing opportunity out there, and probably about 50 trucks were out there when I strolled by, and
yeah, there was 11 inches out there. I brought my snowmobile out there. There was full size Suburbans on the ice.
Wow.
Yeah. On a river system. Yeah.
Recently, I heard it was actually the first time I ever heard somebody falling through. Dodge Durango fell through, and it was actually traveling behind another vehicle in the same path that it went over, and it suddenly went down. So I don't know how, but it's usually safe. But like I said, you got to take precautions anywhere you go.
Never safe, but you always have to check. I mean, there was areas where we were north of Stillwater, and I checked the ice. I checked the ice all the way under the old Stillwater Bridge and the new Stillwater Bridge, and it was consistent all the way when I was checking. But you never know. I mean, there's areas where, like this year with the warm and cold weather, it's a lot thinner in the middle. Generally, usually it is anyways, but this year it's a lot more significant than past years, which is why we haven't been out as much as we'd like, just because it's a river system.
Do they still have hot water coming out of the power plant there at Allen S. King?
They actually shut that down this year. I don't know what was the reason, but it shut down, and last year that we got news that it's actually shutting down for good in about 8 years, I think.
And they're converting it to a that's actually a coal plant. Not that it's related to fishing, but it's converting to natural gas. But
So
it was.
water, I mean, clearly that warm water discharge was concentrating fish. I mean, everybody's fishing as close to the water as you could, but yeah, I wonder how that's impacted it. So if somebody wants to go out and try sturgeon fishing for the first time, and they have maybe local waters that they could fish instead of just sneaking in the backyard, your backyard, is how do you set up for it? Take me through a little bit for the baits that you're using and the hook and maybe the bobber system.
This is actually the same system we've used since we started sturgeon fishing. We just use a 2-aught octopus hook.
Okay.
And I have a globe bead on there, kind of just for self-confidence. Sturgeon don't see it. It pretty much does nothing because it's all by feel with the tentacles. But we try to gob on as many night crawlers and worms as we can. That's the one benefit of Walmart is they always have night crawlers. Even when the sturgeon fishing just started to get popular, they always had night crawlers. But now places have adapted more to the sturgeon fishing. Okay. And then a Carolina rig, which Steve, you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah.
We don't have you can put a bead below that swivel if you want. And then just a traditional slip bobber system. Some people have tried tip ups and stuff like that, but they bite lighter than a bluegill. So you have to pretty much adjust based on the current system you're in. And you can feel when the weight will drop down. It'll want to continue to go depending on the current, but pretty much have it where it's there's no slack in the line under that bobber and the slip.
So you run that sinker all the way to the bottom, and then you rig your slip float so that basically keeps the line tight, if I remember correctly.
Yep. And it pretty much, literally you'll have that much of your bobber exposed just so you can tell if there's, some fish you have will pull it down to the bottom of the hole, but you'll have other ones that'll just bite it like a crappie or a perch will and just take it down and pretty much
and
suck on the
there's
bait.
A thing what we call is like a fin grab, a fin bite, where since the pectorals are pretty wide, they'll swim by and brush you in, and you'll set the hook, nothing will be there, or you'll end up snagging them. That happens from time to time.
And what rod and reel are you running, and what pound test on the line are you running?
We have the Ice Hunter Predator. It's just that 38-inch heavy. We use Shimano Siennas because it's a $25 or $30 reel. So if it did get pulled down, it's not the end of the world. Any inexpensive reels. Yep, bro, you have a similar one there. And this gives you enough of the rod length to stand a great distance away from the hole, just because you are cutting a larger hole. So just the safety of yourself, which is why we use a longer rod. But we've also caught them fishing for crappie. Guys catch them suspended sometimes. So you can get them on lighter rods, but for the safety of the fish, which is why we use a stiffer and longer rod.
And we're using probably 20 to 40 pound test, even up to 65. It's nice to have more on your spool in case you hook a big one that will really peel some line on you. Instead
of having 150 yards of line going all throughout the river. It's nice to have heavier gear just to control the fish, so it's not controlling you.
Yeah, I know you guys are holding your night crawlers between seasons with that Fat and Sassy, that Frabil's bedding, which is really smart, so you don't have to keep going to the bait shop all the time. Which is nice.
And we do the same thing. Yeah. For us, it can be hard to find night crawlers in the winter, so we'll store them in our basement just because we can control the temperature a lot more. And with the styrofoam and the bedding insulation, the night crawlers stay super healthy. We have a bait shop up by us that gets some of the best bulk Canadian night crawlers, and we also do similar things with minnows because we have times throughout the year where we can't get shiners and whatnot, and we'll just have them in a Magnum bait station and store them at home.
So what do you use from the sinker to the hook? Are you using more braid, or are you using fluorocarbon right there where the bait is?
Guys will use either. We just have this one tied up with braid, but it's nice to have about 50-pound mono on there because of on their back, the scales will just slice through just about anything. But that thicker mono is really nice because when they do wrap up in that line, which happens basically every time because they
roll a lot. Yeah, they do.
Roll.
Yeah,
and it feels like they'll come off, but most of the time, probably 75% of the time, they don't. And it's, since they feel by touch, using braid really doesn't affect them because they don't see it. Whereas, like if you're fishing for panfish, that's why you're using fluorocarbon. We pretty much guys will use it just for mainly abrasion resistance, like Hunter was saying.
That's amazing.
Interesting.
Hey, bro, anything else you want to ask these guys?
Well, so do you believe that color or anything in front of the hook doesn't really help them? It's when I'm up at Rainy River, we're doing all kinds of stuff. I've even used bass skirts in front of them, big chartreuse bass skirts. And it seemed like if you put a big one on there in front of the crawlers, you get more bites, but we don't know for sure. It's mostly small fish that were hitting it. But if big color would really help.
I mean, being such a new sport, so to speak, because there's not a lot of places in the United States you can ice fish for sturgeon legally. Yeah. There hasn't been enough proof out there to know if using glow patterns or just traditional hooks, which one will catch more fish, just because we're not seeing the concentrations of fish anymore with the power plant being shut down as we were in the early ice season. So I guess years to come, it'll be when we do College of Ice 5 years from now, we'll be able to give you more of an answer on that.
Hey, and we had a question, and this will have to be their last one because we got to move on. But what's the average size that you guys been catching?
I would say 38 to about 42.
Yeah,
range. The Rainy River is awesome. But I always said this: the St. Croix, it's a smaller body of water where the fish are, but I think over time, I think they're going to get bigger because they feed on. I mean, some of the shad are up to about 20 inches long, and a 48, 50-inch fish could easily swallow that right down its gullet. Actually, a buddy caught one and pulled it out of his mouth. It was hanging out, and I think he measured it 18 or 19 inches. And there's just so much food down there, and the shad is such a big forage for them, and they're just huge.
Well, guys, we're going to see both of you next week. Bro and I, and you, the two of you, are going to be on the ice doing some photos and doing some fishing next week. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. But,
these guys are intense fishermen. I watch them on the ice, and I'm kind of sitting bull sometimes, and I'm watching these guys running around all over the place. And,
we'll have to show you some things.
They are after it.
Hey, you see that tip-up shot? I mean, they're going for it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, when we were fishing with Bro, the shot was similar, but I was sideways and on the ice.
I do remember you getting checked really hard, and you went up in the air and landed on your back, and then you got back up, and I think they would have to medevac me out of there.
I was going to say, careful with Bro. He's not that flexible anymore. Guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. See you.
See you guys. Hey, somebody asked me what's in my mug tonight, and I can guarantee you there's no minnows in there. But it's clear liquid, and it's very refreshing right now. So we appreciate that. Hey, Bro, we're going to give away the second College of Ice mug. In fact, it's the last remaining one that's not in my hands or yours. So
yes,
we've got a new winner. Do you want to announce it?
Derek Johnston, you are the mug winner.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Derek, way to go, man. Oh, you got ice in there as well. Hey,
lake ice.
I'd like to bring in Joe Reimer from Frank's Great Outdoors. It's a fantastic tackle shop out of Linwood, Michigan, up near famed Saginaw Bay. Bro, I know you've been up there several times during the Bro Tour over the years, and I know you and Joe have become good friends, but I really enjoyed having him on last time. And Joe, welcome to College of Ice again.
All right, man. Good to see you. Look at that.
Like it.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
That's the original College of Ice mug right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the original.
Have you ever used it?
What's that?
Have you ever used it?
Oh, never ever use this. So you were talking about what's in the mugs. Doing great here in Michigan. So there's a bar right by Bro's house. All you got to do is go in and get ask for the Bro, and you get a big ginger. That's all you get, the big ginger. Right, Bro?
Yeah, I try to stay out of those places. But they got a great shop there. Frank's Great Outdoors. That place. Every time I go in there, people are cleaning it. It's immaculate. They got so much stock. It's big time Northland Fishing Tackle headquarters. Frable, Aquaview, Humminbird, and everything else between Gamma Cats. They got everything.
Yep. It's actually Larry's birthday today, so he told me to say hi to you today. So
happy birthday, Larry!
So we did. We've been doing great. There's no better business to be in right now than the outdoors business, as you guys know right now. There's no other place to be outside in the world we're in right now than to be in the outdoors, and things are great here in Michigan. The ice is just starting to form right on time. So we can talk about that, guy, if you guys want to.
I wanted to find out what's happening on Saginaw Bay in terms of ice. Are you guys getting? Is it fishable? I mean, what's happening locally?
Well, locally here, people are so amped up, man. I mean, they're so amped up to go out there. I don't think there's ever been a more amped up crowd to go out there ice fishing. So we're going to have probably by this, we got walkable perch ice right now, which is shallow water, 3 to 4 or 5 foot of water. But hopefully, they're fishing the Caucallan River, which leads into the bay. So they're fishing on that. But hopefully we're getting single digits till Saturday, Sunday. So hopefully we'll have some possibly walkable walleye ice this weekend. Definitely being careful. I would say walkable, not drivable. But definitely the winds have been calm. It's been looking good. People are so excited. The store's just been off the hook.
One thing I wanted to ask is, for people out there who don't know Saginaw Bay, it is on a great lake. It's on Lake Huron.
Yeah.
And so you have to have everything perfect for it to freeze. But when it freezes, that is absolutely full of walleyes and jumbo perch.
It's unbelievable. It's just an incredible fishery. If you can get out in Erie, once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime, if you're lucky. But next to Lake Erie, it is it's right there. I mean, the numbers are there. It's incredible. People from all over the country come up when there's ice on the bay.
But it freezes a lot more than Erie.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Joe, other than Saginaw Bay, what else do you have available in terms of good local waters?
Yeah, anything north of M55, people in Michigan are familiar with that. That's Houghton Lake, Lake St. Helen, Burt Lake, anything up in the UP. Andy from the shop's actually going up to the UP this weekend, and they got ice up there, 10, 12 inches up in the UP. Houghton Lake's really good for panfish right now as well. And there's just some local lakes, like I said, Burt Lake, there's walleye there. There's a Peach Lake up by West Branch. There you got walleye and perch up in there. There's definitely ice there. So anything, if you want to look at a map, M55 and north pretty much is where the ice is right now.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
What's the limit on walleyes there right now?
Actually, 8.
8 walleyes?
Yeah, 8. The bay is loaded with walleyes.
That's like a Finlander limit there.
Hey, Joe, have you had any really hot Frabill products this season?
I tell you, those ice hunters, man, they've been hot, and they've been we do a lot of which we call shanties, fish houses, whatever you guys, Wisconsin, shanty days, shanties. But they've been really hot. The new ones coming out. But the mag bait stations, the Frabill buckets, definitely, those are great. And I wanted to let you know, anybody that's watching the show that's in Michigan, tomorrow. So if you buy you come in tomorrow and see Jake at the bait tank, get 10% off. You buy any Frabill bait station, any bait bucket, whatever, 10% off. You get a free 3 dozen perch minnows or a free dozen walleye minnows. So 10% off the bucket and then free minnows as well.
But I heard,
but you got to say bro. The key word is bro.
No, I heard if you mentioned bro, it went up double. That's what happened. So if you mention Steve, it comes down.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's how it works. Yeah, that's how it works.
But yeah, go ahead.
And I know you've been carrying the Razor augers, and that those were very successful for you as well this year.
The Scouts we were out of. Just an incredible auger. That center point on that Scout just the value at the price for the value. It's just incredible. That Scout, Midcox. Those guys are just great, good human beings. They're just good people. They stand behind their product. I can't say enough about Razor augers. We're out of them. Just the best product going right now as far as hand augers go. The extension, people are actually buying the extensions now and using the curved augers. They don't have the center point on them, but they're still coming in and getting them extensions and still use them. They're just wanting them Razor augers, man. Where's those orange augers? That's what they're saying. Where's those orange augers? Which is really cool. It's a really cool thing.
That's really cool. Hey, Joe, we're going to have to let you go, but thank you so much for your support.
I got one person who wants to say hi real quick. Hold on.
All right.
Rach. Hi. Bro, Rachel wants to say hi.
Good to see you.
All right. So this is the last show. I just wanted to say hi. So
awesome.
Say hi. All right, you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye, Rachel.
Bye, Rachel. Cool. Good people.
That's really awesome. Hey, bro, at this time, I want to bring in a guy that really needs no introductions. He's a winner of 4 Bassmaster Classics. He's qualified for 28 Classics, which itself is insane. He's had 25 wins on the Bassmaster circuit. He's fishing the.
I wonder who this is.
Major League. Yeah. That's a KVD. Kevin, how you doing, man?
KVD.
And I'm doing great, guys.
How's that going?
Been watching the show. It looks like you're having fun. It's been quite a run this year.
Oh, yeah. It's a great time.
16 episodes, and I think every time it's even more fun than the last time, and it's pretty amazing to do it. Hey, I shared with Bro that you had got a limit of bluegills the other day, and he asked me. He says, "When's the fish fry?" So I guess I got to ask you that.
You know what was awesome is I went with some of my buddies, and we all really. It was just an incredible evening, and we all limited out, and we actually went and cleaned them and fried them, a bunch of them right on the spot. So it was
the best way to get better than that.
It just doesn't. I love bluegill fishing, and I've got to go a handful of times. And the first time I got schooled by a couple of my buddies. I got some guys that give you a run for your money. They're pretty good at that pan fishing, and they just know the subtle little things. And it's just like bass fishing the same way as when you figure out the pattern or you figure out what those fish want and how they're acting. I've got, I think, the best in electronics, and I wouldn't go if my battery was dead. I just go home, but seeing them and catching them is still 2 different things. You got to know you got to have the right jig and bait and the right movement. And I'm decent at it, but I got schooled my first time out, but the second time I was right there in them.
Yeah.
Wow.
No revenge.
Yeah. It's fun.
So, Kevin, we got a big announcement. You've got a big announcement tonight. Would you like to share it with everybody here?
Yeah, I am super excited. Plano's a longtime sponsor, and this kind of the College of Ice was really something that I think the guys at Plano and Frabill weren't 100% sure how it'd go. I hoped it'd go well, and I think it really exceeded their expectations. You guys did a great job. You had a lot of fun at it. And so they, hinted at me, and I kind of talked to them a little bit. I'd kind of like to do something. So we are going to roll into the College of Bass. It's that once you guys get some ice fishing. And so we're going to start next week. We're going to, keep the same time frame. We're going to kind of do the same thing. It's the fun part for me is I love teaching people how to catch fish and how to be more successful. And that's what the College of Ice was all about. And that's exactly what the College of Bass is going to be about. We're going to
awesome.
We're going to have the same thing, have guests. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to make it real interactive for the fans, let people ask questions. And, next week I'm going to be in South Carolina, and we're going to kick the first show off. I'm at a Major League Fishing event, but we're going to have Brett Chapman, who's a longtime Plano pro, and Pete Reese. They're going to be guests next week. So we got a lot of good guests lined up in the coming weeks, and you never know. I think we're really on to something. You guys really paved the way for something really cool, and in the end, we're helping people be more successful out in the water, whether it's frozen or soft, and that's really what it's all about, and that's what I really get a kick out of.
That's cool.
I'm really looking forward to going in depth with you, Kevin, on some of the things like, really breaking down techniques for things like jerk baiting or whatever the topics are. And I think anybody that's a serious bass fisherman, to have access to guys like you every week and to be able to ask questions will be incredible and fun. And I'm looking forward to being a part of it as well.
Yeah, we, early in the pandemic, I just, I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to kind of connect with the fans and try to help people out. So I did a couple of Facebook and Instagram lives, and it just, the interest was just overwhelming. So, when you guys started this, it was kind of a natural fit. And, I'm looking forward to it because, we have different backgrounds, so Steve is going to be on there, and bro, we'll have to get you on there one time too.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, no, but it'll be interesting. We're going to have a lot of good guests, and again, it's going to be unbiased. It's going to be unfiltered. We're going to cover a lot of different topics. The first one, we're going to talk about pre-spawn bass fishing. I want to keep it timely. And I want to talk about the things that people are interested in, and electronics are going to come up and some of these hot new baits and techniques and things like that. We're going to cover it all. So it's going to be fun. And we want to hear from people what they want to know and what they want to learn about. And we're going to try to cover it all. But I know we'll have a big response. It's the beginning, kind of the kickoff of the bass season. A lot of the, both the Bassmaster Elite Series and the Major League Fishing Tour, Bass Pro Tour is about to kick off. And, people are fishing big time in the South right now. I mean, that's the one thing this year that we've all learned is that, man, people want to fish and they've tried it for the first time, or they haven't, or they've came back to it. And there's a lot of people out fishing, and there's a lot of people that want to learn. And that's what we're going to do is help them out.
That's awesome. So we're going to do this every Wednesday night for the next, starting February 3rd. It's going to run through March 27th, I think, or whatever. So it's going to be 8 weeks, and we'll have prize packs every week and just access to guys like Kevin Van Dam. It's pretty awesome. So, Kevin, looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us on College of Ice. You're going to be our last guest of season 1, which is pretty phenomenal to be able to say that. So thank you for coming on board tonight.
You bet, guys. Great job, and thanks for paving the way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Woo! Kevin Van Dam, dude.
Oh, what a show, huh?
Oh, exciting. Hey, bro, I gotta say, it's been unbelievable working with you the last several weeks. It's been fun, and all the guys that are viewing and checking in, and all the women too. I want to give bro just a round of applause and thank him for just an awesome job and sharing everything he has in terms of knowledge, really to have so much fun. And I want to thank everybody else that's tuned in as well, because it's been so much fun getting to know a lot of you online. I've seen so many names pop up week after week after week, and it's been really fun, hasn't it?
Yeah, and the one thing I want to say is, a lot of this, it was in honor of Paul Nelson, who was a Frabill pro that passed away this year, and this is for you. Which is he was a good Frabill pro, and he was a fishing guide and writer in the Bemidji area.
And we really missed seeing everybody on the road this year. We've been doing this for 25 years, and hopefully we will resume our schedule next year. But
here's my better half, Heather.
The online segments have been terrific, and thank you everyone for your support. And keeping this guy honest and keeping this guy going.
I'm always honest.
Because he's a little shy. So
I'm not shy.
Love you guys. God bless.
That's awesome. So, bro, we've got to pick a winner. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back, guys. Everyone, we'll be back in just literally a half a minute or so. We gotta pick the last winner of the Frabill prize pack this year. So we'll be right back.
Let's do it. All right.
Bro, we got a winner tonight.
A winner, Michael Kovastock. Is that right?
Good.
I hope I said it right. Kovastock.
I love the name. Michael, congratulations on winning the first and last ever Fradyville Prize Pack on episode 16. So thank you for joining us tonight. And again, everybody, thanks again for a wonderful season. We will be back next year for sure. And please join us on College of Bass with Kevin Van Dam starting February 3rd.
I'll be there.
Thanks for watching this week's College of Ice. Stay tuned for all new episodes coming up.